I'm trying to take his head off. He's trying to take mine off. And if you're spending money on that, you can't go wrong.
How's it going, guys? Chris Machi, Matchmaker, CEO for Flex Fight Series, and we are back with another edition of the Flex Off. I cannot be more excited to bring these two animals on the show. Guys, we have Harold Morisset coming out of Fight Me Combat Sports under tutelage of Coach Mike and Coach Matt, Nico Price over there. I mean, a really, really strong camp. We have Anthony Palmiotto, a staple in the Flex Fight Series cage. Animals MMA, always well represented on the Flex Fight Series cage. Bunch of killers in that room. This episode is sponsored by Brute Seltzer, the first and only protein seltzer. Get your protein in, no more weak waters. Guys, thank you for joining us, and we're going to hop right into it. Harry, I'm going to go to you. I don't know if you've ever fought out of state before, but it does add a little bit of a wrinkle to the process, to the mental process, to the weight cut, to the whole thing. Do you think that it's a disadvantage, or are you excited for the new challenge and to assimilate yourself because pros go through this all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't necessarily thought about it as an advantage or a disadvantage. I'm more or less just excited. It's an opportunity. It's cool to be able to go fight somewhere else other than Florida. I mean, I'm pretty sure you mentioned earlier how many fights I had or whatever or something, but I've had a few fights down here, so I'm just excited to go fight out of state, traveling. It just seems fun, like a cool opportunity.
Cool. And coming to you, obviously, you are accustomed to the Flex Fight Series cage. A lot of lights, a lot of cameras. The crowd is extremely invested in what's happening in that cage. Sometimes, it feels like the building's going to collapse when somebody wins, right? So, do you feel like that's an advantage for you, just having been in that environment?
I mean, I guess you could call it an advantage in a sense. I mean, I think any true and professional competitor, that kind of stuff doesn't really phase them, I guess you could say. I mean, I definitely think there is a little bit of an edge as far as if you competed for Flex and if you have not. I mean, I think all in all, they do a great job, I will say, at making it a very like you kind of just said, loud music, speakers. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of variables that could throw you off. But that being said, I think even if you've done it a couple times, it's you guys are always throwing some new stuff at us, so you don't know what to expect.
Absolutely. Harry, this situation is unique because you're actually going to war on the road with your entire team almost.
Yeah.
Is that giving you kind of like this extra fuel? Because it's almost like you guys are like the Vikings and you're coming into this town and, kind of trying to pillage the town. And, is that giving you, some extra gas in the tank?
I mean, usually when we're preparing for a fight, I mean, it'll be a call. I mean, just like any team all over. I mean, they'll have a couple guys on a card here, a couple guys on a card there. This one's a little unique, obviously. Like I was saying earlier about the excitement of getting to travel, fight out of state and whatnot. So the couple of guys that we're going up there with, I think we've gotten closer this camp just because we've had that thing in common. Definitely been pushing each other harder and whatnot. So it just makes it more, I think, it just makes it more fun.
Absolutely, and glad to be able to create this opportunity for fighters like you. Every time we come to Florida and we do a show, we sell it out. And Fight Me Combat Sports is one of the most represented gyms, on our cards over there. So huge to bring you guys to the New York scene, and huge to bring you guys to our home base where we have full production power. And it's something that you're going to benefit from no matter what the result is. Anthony, you listen, your grappling prowess, oftentimes overpowers these guys. And, and oftentimes that's what kind of leads to success. Not that that's the only tool in your toolbox, but it's very apparent that there's levels to this game. Coming into this fight, is anything's changed, or are you going into it wanting to show off more skills, more layers into your game?
Chris, I mean, I'm always trying to experiment. I mean, I do more of my trial and error in the training room. Of course, I want to put my best foot forward every time I step into the cage. So, I mean, not really, just going about executing my game as I usually would. I have my style, I like to use everything, all my tools. So on that given day, on the whatever situation is thrown at me, I'll use it accordingly.
And to kind of expand on that, one thing that I respect about your style, every fighter obviously has an approach, right? And every styles make fights. One thing that I respect about your style is that you've been able, at least in the amateur game and at this level, you've been able to make the wrestling style entertaining to watch. And that is, at the end of the day, listen, this is a business. If no one wants to watch you fight, you could be the best fighter in the world, but nobody cares and you're just not going to go anywhere. So you have to be entertaining, and you've been able to do that. You've been able to mix it enough where it's extremely entertaining to watch, and I think that you should pat yourself on the back about that. Because there's skill level, there's winning the fight, and then there's getting people invested in the fight, and it's like it's not no one thing is more important than the other. And Harry, I'm going to go to you. You are a well-rounded mixed martial artist. Looking and browsing through your records, the wins that you do have, they're coming in different ways. It seems to me, again, without delving super deep into your style, it seems to me that you're not a one-trick pony. That you're kind of a well-rounded martial artist. So I just wanted you to speak about that.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, I like to think I'm good everywhere. I didn't really come up starting in one discipline or anything like that. So, I like to mix it up. I like to just play to my strengths, whatever the game plan may be. Just pretty much take the fight wherever I know I have an advantage. And like you were saying, man, like people just want to watch people fight. Obviously, Anthony's my opponent, so I've watched a little bit about his fights, and I'm fired up about it because he's not one of these people that does, take someone down, pass, hang out there, transition again, not really do much. That dude comes to fight, so I'm excited about that. People are going to want to watch the fight. It's going to be a fun fight.
And Anthony,
Yeah, I
to
don't want
you, oh, sorry, go.
to say I don't like to go in there just to survive. A lot of people, I fought kids like that, and it is definitely annoying. I've had, unfortunately, losses like that. I took losses where kids
Same.
were just, I heard it in their voice, like they were very happy they were able to keep me down.
It's funny. I think that in a weird way, right? Having two opponents like this that are really coming to that moment in the cage where you guys are excited to see, to step in the middle. It's going to be a treat for the fans because this is not a situation where I don't think you guys are like really looking at it from a strategic perspective, but more so like, hey, let's give the fans, what they paid for here. And that's, who's going to benefit from this. Talking about that, Harry had a lot of respect for your style, but what if any, have you been able to kind of research on him? Like, do you see anything that you wanted to, exploit, can you explain that to the fans?
No, I mean, not really, man. I mean, this whole camp has just been about, I mean, just as every one of them is, I mean, just about development, getting better, getting as good as I can. I mean, I'm just showing up to fight. I'm just showing up to do the same thing he's showing up to. I'm coming there to punch him in the head. He's coming to punch me in the head. So you can do it more often. I mean, I really know like super strategic game plan. Just show up, fight.
And same question to you. Anything stylistically that you want to exploit? I mean, by the way, Harry, that should be on a shirt. I'll come punch you in the head, and then you punch me in the head.
Yeah, I mean, similar goal here for me. Just definitely want to gain cage time, some may call it, and experience. And I like to in going off that, like that being said, I like to utilize, um, say, I mean, of course, if I have to do what I gotta do, like, again, I over, how do you put it? I prefer to, you know, use what's given to me in that very moment, not just like, I'm not someone who's like, say I'm in a wrestling match, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I want to shoot an ankle pick. Like, maybe the ankle pick isn't presented to me. I have to shoot it I don't know, snap him down. Maybe his head's over his foot or something. You know what I'm saying? Um, but again, with that being said, like try to use, I'll bring the striking game to him. I know you're, mainly a striker, or say someone is mainly a striker, maybe a grappler. Like I'm not afraid to try grappling with them and, challenge myself. Not just, I'm not just there for the outcome.
Cool. So Harry, coming to you, at the close of this, I want two more questions for you guys. Question one: what are the fans buying? Why should they buy that ticket to see Harry Morisset? Even the New York fans, again, different than a lot of the other smaller regional shows, is that 30 to 40% of our fan base is just there for flex. They don't know any of the fighters. So those fans are available for the picking. So, that being said, what are they buying?
I mean, for starters, man, I mean, 90% of my family is from New York, so a lot of them are going to be coming to the show to see me fight live for the first time, so that fires me up even more. I guess what can they expect, or what are they buying? Just a good fight, a fight like exactly like both of us have said. I'm not going in there to survive. I'm not going in there to win by points. I'm going in there to fucking fight. It's going to be a good fight. I'm trying to take his head off. He's trying to take mine off, and if you're spending money on that, you can't go wrong.
Truly waving the flag of Fight Me Combat Sports. When I first met you guys, I was like, how did nobody call their gym that? You know what I mean? So definitely Nico Price makes total sense. If you know Nico, why you think like that too as well. So and then same question to you, and what are the fans buying? I mean, a lot of people know you already, but for ones that don't, what are they buying?
I mean, I think they're purely buying entertainment. Like listen, I'd advise them to pay for this rather than $80 for a UFC pay-per-view. Plus, I use that Russian link every time anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, you know, I think this is better bang for your buck. Put it that way.
Absolutely. We appreciate that. And Harry, last question to you. Before seeing your opponent on the scale, send-off message. What is your send-off message to Anthony Palmiotto before you guys meet in the middle of that cage and see who is the best man?
Let's party. I'll see you next Friday night.
And same question to you. Before seeing Harry Morisset in the middle of that cage and figuring out who is the best man that night, what's your message?
I'm happy you can make it up here. Actually have an opponent. A lot of people that live 10 times as close as you will back out of fights due to injury or so on. And Chris, I know you're familiar with those situations.
Oh, yeah.
So just grateful that you can make it up.
Absolutely. And guys, thank you so much for spending the time, always supporting Flex Fight Series. I think we are on our 27th sold out show in a row. A beautiful community. These two gentlemen fighting for, and this is a first one of one, the red, white, and gold and blue East Coast title. No one else will have this belt. No one else will have these. Okay. These are never going to be created. So this is going to be a very special item for the best man to walk out of that cage with. Guys, thank you so much. And again, thank you, Brute Seltzer. No more weak waters. Get your protein in. Brute Seltzer. I appreciate you guys.